Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are going to talk about commanders in Eternal Evolution. It's not an incredibly deep system, but there are a couple of things that I think are easy to overlook earlier in the game while you're trying to absorb information from all different directions. So I want to make sure everyone understands exactly how this all works and what kinds of things to be looking out for as you're playing the game. If you don't know already, you farm commanders from the Kansaro Marsh. I believe epic ones start to drop at stage 5, and mythic ones start to drop at stage 9. If you need a guide for this dungeon, I've got one. I'll card to it up there, so you can tab that up for future reference if you need to. But let's go ahead and just jump in here and knock this out very quickly. In the command post, you've got your list of all of your commanders, right? Of different qualities and etc. For any given commander, you can see a quick version of like who they support, what they do here. Use heroes who can deal AoE damage is the recommendation for this one. And then here is a list of champs that she's going to pair well with, right? And you can do this for any commander. He's a displacement skill hero. He's going to do well with your vanguards and your assassins and so on and so on, right? Beyond that, they have stats that they offer to the team. They have passives, they have skills that will get used when certain things happen in battle. And then they've got these things down here, right? Locked at 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. The purple ones are going to have just the 2. The epic ones are going to have the 4 spots, and then mythic are going to have 5 spots. The first 2 spots are going to be reserved for bonuses like this, okay, for your champions. And then the last 3 on mythic are going to be stat bonuses of some sort, okay? This is where the depth comes into this system. I think if you haven't jumped into this and given it a good look, the idea might just be, once I get a mythic Rhoda, I'm done. Once I get a mythic Brynhild, I'm done. But that is far from the case. Things are really just beginning when that happens, okay? So, as you level them up, as I said down here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Every time you hit these thresholds, you're gonna roll something here. And this is very random. This is where this list of champs that they have an impact over come into play. So, for example, my Rhoda, I have 2 maxed out Rhodas here, and you can see the difference in what they've rolled. It's not a bad idea to have a maxed out commander, regardless of how well they fit into your team, because there is a lot of bonus here to having them. They do still have a heavy impact. So when you are getting your first mythic commander or 2 from rewards, or maybe very early in the, like maybe you cleared 9 and you get your first mythic, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and level them up because they do still have a big impact. But that's where things again are really going to begin, because now what you need to do is not only get the commander that you want, but you need to roll things down here. This is much like rolling substats on gear. Okay, now you need to roll these substats into things that are going to benefit you heavily. So for example, for my account, what's going to do me really well is if I get a Rhoda that bumps up my Ravenna's skills, right? If I can get the 1-all skills or the +2 ultimate for Ravenna, that's going to have a huge impact on her damage output, right? Because I'm investing very heavily in her. I've got her 1 away from Immortal right now, actually. So if I could get a Rhoda that would roll a Ravenna perk down here, that would be huge for me. Beyond that, if I could get some attack percentage and some middle row damage, and you know what I mean? If I could get some of these things, that would be so insanely huge for me because I'm investing so heavily in Ravenna, and Omar is another one that I'm using pretty actively as well. But this is where it's going to matter more for your account, okay? In this sense, they're more like gear. It's not just like this commander's the best across the board. It's really going to matter what content you're doing, which champs you've decided to build, what the team is you're running. That's good, and then how the commander rolls. All of these things are going to play a part in like who's the best commander. Okay, so there's no, I can't say like get this commander, it's the best one across the board. That doesn't exist in this game. It depends very heavily on what you're doing and who you're doing it with. So that's the big thing that I think is very easy to probably not have clocked this early in the game. Again, especially with so much information coming at you from so many different directions. And I think this is a very important thing to know, because it might be easy to think, once I get a mythic version of each commander, I'm done, and then move on to other things and not pay attention to this anymore. And you could upgrade your account so drastically by understanding this and having it work out. So like, for example, this guy's level 1 for me. What I'll probably do is just take him to level 5 and see, that's great for me because I have a pretty highly evolved Randall. So that's a great start for me for this commander. Whereas if I had rolled, I don't know, for me, if I had rolled Rakana, who I'm not investing in that heavily yet, not ideal for me, right? So now what I do is I roll it to 10 and see if I get anything else that's going to benefit me. And then I can decide if I want to take it to 15. So we're off to a really good start here, but that doesn't mean I'm done. Again, if I get Ravenna here, I'm not necessarily done. If I get Ravenna and then all of the rest of it's garbage, of course I'm still going to use her because she's still going to have a big impact. But ultimately, I want every one of these slots to be having a big impact on what I'm doing. I want middle row attack. I want attack percentage. I want, you know what I mean? I want in every single way that I can have her impact the champs that she's impacting. I want her to very heavily, okay? So that's where it's going to take like a really long time to get commanders that are going to perfectly fit into your account, okay? So that's really it. That's all I wanted to make sure. And then the last thing is use this log button up here, okay? Because it would be such a tragic mistake to feed a commander, to finally roll a commander that was really good and then feed it, because you will eventually start feeding copies of mythic commanders to level up the commanders that you're using. You know what I'm saying? So you'll use like purple and gold to maybe roll them to 5 or 10 to see how they're going to start rolling, and then if they're garbage, you just feed them over into another commander. And this is not a 1-to-1. With gear, it's 1-to-1. If you level up a piece of gear and put it into another piece of gear, it converts it 1-to-1. This doesn't. I think I tested this out on a level 1 Rhoda. I put my level 25 into the level up thing for my level 1 Rhoda, and I think it took her to 20, very close to 21. So it gets them most of the way there, but it doesn't fill them all the way back up. So that's worth keeping in mind as well. But that's it. I just want to make sure everybody understands this part of the commanders, because I think everything down to here, it's easy to just quickly look at and be familiar with. But this is where it really starts to get important, to be honest. So we'll do like better showcases of the commanders later on after I get them and where they fit into my team. And, you know, I get to test out which commanders do really well in which content with which champs. We'll do some like dedicated commander videos moving forward, but I really wanted to get you familiar with the system for now, because I think it's really important to have a decent grasp on that. And then later down the line, we'll do specific commander showcases. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I do hope it was helpful. If you feel like your resources are not going as far as you think they should, if you feel like you're running out of experience and stuff, it's possible you may be misusing them. I've got a video that's up on the screen now that could correct that problem for you if you have overlooked something, so you can check that one out if you want to. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. I do hope this was helpful, and if it was, you know, liking the video would be dope. Subscribe if you want to see more and all that stuff. Y'all know how it works by now. I'm getting out of here. Later.